Ready? In 3, 2, 1.
Okay, you're live. I messed it up. I'm sorry. My bad.
Welcome back to another Overthrow Patreon form review live stream. That being said, if you are interested in doing this, it is part of our $15 patron tier. That's going to change pretty soon. I think we've got Mikey doing the daily form review tier, which is daily is the best forward we could find for Monday through Friday, and some occasional Saturdays, but we don't promise those. And his book of business is filling up to the point where there's not going to be a lot of slots left. So we got that. We're probably going to bring on another coach pretty soon. And I think Mikey and I are about to start tag teaming what form review live streams we have left, which I don't know how many we have left. We'll kind of feel it out. But the daily form reviews are way more valuable than these, I feel. So this is nice because you can ask questions, and I go a little more in depth probably than what you need on like a daily basis. So yeah, all that to say, this is going to change a little bit. Now we've already got our cue, so we're going to roll straight into it today. As always, feel free to ask questions. I will do my best to answer questions, but also not get derailed by them. It's a fine line. Okay, Kodiak is first. Ooh, tech disc integrated numbers. 47. Okay, good nose, good launch. It's a nice start. Why is the pinky off? Whoop. I don't know if you know that you do this. Whoop! Did you see that?
Dang. He got burned. I was thinking would it be if it pops back into place last second. Whoa. Couple fingers off.
You've gone from a 4-finger power grip to a 2-finger. It's pretty impressive that you got the nose down. Yeah, it's really unconventional grip-wise. So I'd really go here to start. Even if you have to only hold with these two in the beginning to like get yourself to intentionally do this correctly. So sometimes when I'm working with people who have this problem in my private lessons, we just start here with 2 fingers because you feel like I definitely can't hold on with 2 fingers, so it forces you to keep your hand closed and forces you to load back here, obviously, and then we add fingers as we go. But really the practice for that is you have to be really consciously focused on your grip for a little bit, just knowing, okay, where's this thing coming out of my hand? So I would just do a couple throws here, real light with everything else. Obviously, these are just floating. Trying to give you a good image there.
You can see good.
Yeah, and then start adding fingers in. If you were throwing way faster, I'd say, okay, maybe we change something here, but or maybe we don't change something here. But 47's not that fast in the wobbles. Just a little bit higher than we'd like it to be. It's not like insane. So I would start working on securing that grip first and foremost. Yeah, it's just gonna make it a bit easier on some other things here too. Yeah, it looks fairly clean overall. I mean, there are like bits and pieces here and there. Yeah, other than that, maybe you just hang out a little bit too wide with your offhand here. Kind of have a like dragging behind. Just get both hands tucked. Let this arm drop into the body here. Like that. And because this is out here, you've got kind of a little too much rotation, I think, but it's not anything super egregious on that level. I think probably the most pressing thing is the grip. For sure. Yep. Yeah, after that, there's other stuff to work on. But grip, and then work on staying here. Like keeping your body here, keeping this like left side here instead of kind of spinning around it. Right. Yep. Interested to see what happens with the grip change. Really am. Grip changes are wonderful things. Sometimes they don't do anything. But I can't imagine that not being helpful. So, any insight on why sometimes you just feel good and shots are going far with ease, and then some days I feel like I have to try and end up not even throwing as far? Well, you're going to have days where things are easier and days where you have to kind of fight for everything, right? It's really nice when you're trying to be smooth with it and you're trying to be easy with it, it also goes far that day, right? So probably you shouldn't force anything. It should just be, you should always go for smooth, and some days that just goes further than other days. You're just gonna have to kind of know, like, oh man, today's gonna be a really good day, right? And you just enjoy those days. You know, some days it's gonna be like, I don't recommend telling yourself this and being like, man, today's just a bad day. Definitely don't say that. But in retrospect, you know, there are days that it was just tougher, and you just got to kind of grind through and go through those days. And then you're going to have a lot of days that are just kind of mediocre. So that's just how it goes. Get through the bad ones and enjoy the good ones. Yeah, have a longer term memory when it comes to the good days, because those kind of keep you around for a lot of the bad ones. Okay. Whoop, whoop, whoop. This guy. It's almost like Dark Wolf. But it's...
Oh! This is the guy that killed?
Oh.
I think.
I don't even think this is the first kilt on the channel. I think we had someone in a kilt early. But it has been years by this point. Okay, side on. Found his line, getting to work. Okay. It just feels really short. Yeah. Yep. So I think you need to work on your unit turn here and attaching kind of your arm to your shoulders. So watch your shoulders as we go through here. Look how slow your shoulders are, but your arm's pushing back. Your shoulders aren't even moving here, right? But your arm's moving a whole bunch, right? This is fake coiling. It feels like you're coiling, but you're not coiling. Yep, and you need to be over it with your posture, not so upright and level with the shoulders. Okay, so you get about here, and then your shoulders stop moving, and then your arm takes care of the rest, right? Or makes you think it's taking care of the rest. The arm can only move if the shoulder's moving. So this, you need to treat your chest, your shoulders, your arm kind of as a unit, right? So sometimes you get people who do back swings that look like this, right? Calvin, Kristen, Emerson, Ricky, right? Where they don't even extend, right? Well, it's not suboptimal form. You could say that if you could guess, okay, that's bad form. Or if you were smart, you'd be like, well, obviously it's not bad because Ricky doing it, right? Or Kristen or Calvin, or like when you get a huge list of players doing it, it's probably not bad, right? So that kind of makes us think, why is this not bad, right? Well, it's because their shoulders keep moving the whole time, right? So my arm needs to be attached to a shoulder move. So I don't change any space here. I like to practice this with like a fist on my chest here, because it's forcing me to keep this unit here. So this is coiling, right? This is not coiling. This is coiling. Everything's got to go back. In your posture, you have to be over it, over the shot here. So I'm going to exaggerate just a little bit here, but really, you're going to feel like this. Right, butt way out, way bent, over my toes, right? Lots of space here. And then you do your turn, right? So you should go that exaggerated until you don't have to exaggerate anymore. So we're here, and then what that does is when we go into this turn of the shoulders with good posture, we look like this, right? Instead of up here. Right? So good posture over it. When I turn, you kind of see this right shoulder lower than my left shoulder. Right? Is what you see from side on. Bad posture, like that. It's all level. Okay, so over the shot. There. And then eventually you can start letting your elbow open. But it has to be, the arm is being moved back by the shoulder, not by just your arm swinging back and forth. Okay. Shoulder turn. Make sense? Okay, let me find. Okay, it's Bourbon Junior. Mm. Right, you gotta turn back, 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 back. Shoulders turn, go, 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 go the whole time. See your shoulders stop here. It's kind of because your foot's trying to point forward and trying to open like that. We need to let these shoulders turn this backwards. Whoop.
By the way, I brought in Anthony Barella from at the very top, and Jasper as well. And it's a lot more like side on Anthony as opposed to
I'm here for it. I'm throwing into a net. It's like a bit higher than he normally.
Actually, I've been studying one of the form. He does that for normal shots. Like when he's more upright instead of coming on hyzer. He does that a ton. I was going to talk with you about it. Because I looked up coverage and froze freeze frames, and I saw it a bunch.
See here how we see how your shoulders are pointed like this? Right, he's got a bit more turn here. Now AB's not trying to, he didn't really give this the, like a full go. He's just kind of like, oh, I got to throw into that net. Okay, whatever. So this is not his distance. This is like non-distance form, actually. So it's a kind of a good judge because it's like not giving it everything he's got. It's just like a warm-up throw. Smooth. I don't know how fast he threw it, but 76, so, you know, just smooth. But yeah. So we want that full turn. You see how your foot's pointed forward here, right? That turn from up top turns shoulder, turns everything back a little bit so that you don't plant forward like this, right? Gives you room to throw. You see how your shoulder's already like, whoop, up against your body. It's because you didn't give yourself space there, right? So what we want to do, turn the whole way. So this is going to turn my trunk. It's going to turn my hip back a little bit. It's going to turn this foot back. Right now, you get here and you're trying to open this. If you open this, so if you turn your foot forward, you're going to end up pinching here like you do and coming around early, right? And now you only throw from here, which is not a lot of throwing room. But if you can get here, if as you take your final step, you turn your chest all the way backwards, now you've got all this space back here too, right? Look how far my arm is away from my chest now. So really easy for me to keep it away from my chest versus if I'm forward like this, it's pinched. Now I have to swing around instead of swing through. So make sure you get a full turn, get your chest all the way back, get your belly button all the way back, and then just check to make sure that you let this turn back too. You can't really get all the way back here and have that forward because it's all attached. But you should check anyways. Can you be too spread with your legs? Yes. You can also be too narrow. Andrew B. Well, there's a Drew B. I'm going to take just a wild guess and say that this is probably Andrew B. Boom, 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 boom. All right. Vision's getting really blurry. Whoa, whoa. It's like your light is creating tunnel vision. How fast are you throwing? Or far? Whichever metric you have. Those angles not too much of a problem. 330. It's not bad. You're like the thing I would fix first is your front foot is open. Makes it really hard to stop well. So by open, I mean like this would be open. This would be closed if it was pointing backwards. So it's kind of inhibiting your coil a little bit. And it's hard to brace when your foot comes down that way because your knee is like wanting to leak forward a little bit. Now there's a good chance that you're, let me see here. See your natural like standing position? Can I? Maybe I can't. Do your feet flare out just like a hair? Because you actually have good, like, you're doing a decent job with your shoulder. Yeah. Yeah, just get that. You just got to get that turned back a little bit more. Yeah, and so even though you tuck your left arm close to your body here, which is correct, you're still twisting your left side fairly heavily. You see how that left shoulder is like already forward? So first thing, we're just gonna get this foot turned a little bit more back. Just from here, it's harder to stop, it's harder to break, right? So you're gonna need that in place because we've got to stop our left side from coming around. So the goal is not just tight to the body here and not just compact, though that is one of the goals. The goal is actually to stop this left side from coming around, right? So when you throw, once we plant here, we want our left side to stay in place. So our left hand's going to tuck just like you're doing here. And now it needs to stay here. Like if I had momentum from a walk up, my foot might pick up like that. But we want this left side to stay right here as we throw. So if we could do this, we would do this. There's too much momentum and too much swing and too much force to keep us here. It's going to pull our left side around eventually. But right now you've got no resistance there, so you're just going around with everything, right? You do a good job of getting a decent pocket despite that. But it would be better if you went here and kept this in place. I'll just show you one AB here. I'm sure he does it here. Don't really throw 76 not doing it. Probably. It's gonna take a second. It's tired. See the effort that he's making here to keep his left side back. See how little movement that is on his left side. And how yours kind of rolls forward the whole time. Roll in, roll in, roll in. See that? There's just no real like stop point. It just kind of slowly rolls forward. Does that make sense? See here? See how he's trying to use that left hand to keep that left shoulder, that left side back. Right. Trying to avoid it going this way. Right, and the further he tries to throw, the more he does that. Yes, yeah. Yep, the left side would feel like going backwards. The left side, like in tennis, we actually take the left hand and we move it away as a counter movement. Well, it's good for the few weeks or a few months that you've been working on it. A couple things to clean up here and there, but it's definitely good directionally. You've taken like big chunks of stuff. Yes, yeah, I use the mental cue of like spreading the wings personally. Or sometimes I like try to anchor it. It's changed here and there, and I've heard a bunch of different things, but there are a bunch that work. Moving it, having it move back, having it anchor, imagery kind of around that. But the thing that you don't want to do is have it spin forward. You're trying to avoid it going forward. It's still going to go forward after you throw because your arm's going to start pulling your chest around, but yeah, you're going to work against that. Apple. Oh, sorry. I don't know why I'm yawning so much. A Blinken. 2210.
Abe Lincoln.
Abe Lincoln. Hey, we have the same birthday, me and Abe. Yeah.
Leaders of home.
Oh, is it gonna do the thing where it like goes through and it goes all at the end? Wait for it. All the stuff I wanted to see.
That's awesome.
Okay. Okay, let's work on space stuff here, like Interstellar. Not like Interstellar. Okay. We're gonna pretend like we're Niklas Antila real quick. Okay? So if you haven't seen the guy, he looks like this. Right? Kind of like just do it. Right? You could really Niklas or Shia LaBeouf work at this point. So create your space here. So I've got lots of room. Like I could hold a beach ball here, right? Or ballerina, right? So we're here. And I just want you to walk through your steps, maintaining this space the whole time. Right? So here, and then boom, once we get to this right step, the beach ball, the audience is there. Right? So we're here, and then we get through the X step, maintaining that space, and the ball is still here. Right? And then we've got behind us, and we're going to keep it for now, right? We're just trying to create space because right now you're here, right? So do this with me. It's going to be holding my beach ball, and then going through my walk up. So I'm going to start with the left. Hold on, let me see what you start with. Actually, I lied. Bad coach, bad coach. We're starting with the right. Perfect. Okay, so we're starting side on. Here we are. Your dance partners. Right. Still here. X step. Still here. Behind. Right. We're side on. Beach ball. Here. Here. And now behind. Right, eventually you can start separating the hands when you go back here. But in the beginning, we're not going to do that. Here, I'll grab something semi-random. It forces me to keep space. Here, here, here. Space kept, right? Space keeper. The coach... Space Keeper, Overthrow Space Keeper 3000. They go for about $189.99. Yeah. Here we go. And then full walk up. Boop. Here. Right, from here, I could actually throw. So, and then eventually with the disc. This is why I'm a fan of like when people have their hand on the disc like this, right? That's what Niklas is doing. He is prioritizing space. And then throw. Right, so let's start with that. Side, side, behind. I want you to throw both. Just do it, man. Don't let your dreams be dreams. Call at 11. Lad Squire. Wait. Oh, Deadly Rage. You're in the queue.
Oh, did you just... Sorry. Deadly Rage is next.
Oh, I looked at the bottomest one.
Right. Yeah. I thought you were doing Deadly Rage just then.
Captured by Tech Disc. Did it give us metrics, or it gives us metrics afterwards?
No, it only gives metrics if he clicks a little button.
Whoop.
Show the metrics.
You know, there's some Jesse from Trash Panda going on here. The reverse swoop? Neil? Is that you?
Yeah, it's metrics. Chat.
Whee. Yeah, I mean, if it's a click of a button and the metrics go there, I'm all for it. Clicky click. Okay. So there's not a lot of shoulder coil. And also I know why the net is covering the right side of your basement wall. You got to get yourself one of these enclosure 3000s. Well, we went to the year 3000. I do like the fluidity. I have people do this sometimes where they just like spin out and around, and some of this is probably Vans on slick concrete, maybe. I don't know. Maybe your Vans have really good grip. But you're trying to force something here that should be natural. So when we stop with our brace, the brace needs to help us stop our lower body, right? So we're stopping two things. We're stopping rotation, and we're stopping forward drift, right? So this would be drift. Whee! Right? That's forward drift. So when you're stopping, you haven't created enough of a unit down here, so this side just collapses into this side, like that. So if I keep everything totally noodle except for my brace foot, well, this just all slides forward, and then I end up climbing on top of my brace, right? So you need to create a stronger base. Once this foot hits, this lower body needs to stay here, right? Lower body, and I would say even like the left side. So it needs to try to stay in place. So for example, you should try to do this when you throw. Okay, this is going to look a little weird, but I'm describing to you the feeling visually. You should try to go here, like that. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to create that base. Now, when you do a full throw and you add momentum, it ends up pulling you around at the end, but that's against your will. So the goal is create a base. A drill that I have people do sometimes for this is I get them, and I have to step back when I do this, is I get them to jump and land and then throw right away, right? Because this is the base you're trying to create. So you just so happen to create the base very forcibly when you jump up and land, right? You're trying to create that same base when you take a step forward. Just when you start to throw, your arm starts pulling you this way, forward. So that's why this back foot lifts up a little bit. But don't try to go here. If you try to go here, you end up doing what you're doing, right? Try to stay here. And if you do that, it will lift up on its own as you start to throw. My footwork look like I'm turning back too much. No, seems fine. I think you're not coiling enough, really. I'm not asking for your left foot to go further back, but I don't think it's a problem. I think you could coil more, especially if you're trying to throw faster. Helps to have that extra coil, because this is your coil right now. When this hits, this is where you're throwing from. So you should try to get a little more. Land square. Shipped. Whoop, whoop. Hey, good footwork. Yeah, nice. I would nitpick a little bit here and say, don't stagger intentionally. Don't stride towards me intentionally during this final step, and let your right hip turn back away from the target a little bit. We'll talk about those. Okay. Also, I'd probably say that this, just a side note here, on the nose angle dealio, is this is probably a little exaggerated here. You are throwing nose down. You don't need to like go that palm up, but just like be careful. I guess is the advice that I'm giving here. Is this is more palm up than most people are. So just be careful in the follow through, because if you're really palm up, you can start twisting things in shoulder and stuff like that. Okay, very similar thing to what I spoke about with deadly rage. It's like we go from a form world to like gamer world instantly. We were just doing disc golf form, and now we're in World of Warcraft or something. Okay. Yeah. I would calm down the amount of flipping you're doing. You don't need it. You just need to time it correctly. And this like palm up cue is usually a great cue, but it can be overdone, and you need to monitor that. So usually when I'm watching people, I'll say palm up, and then they'll go from here to like here. So just looks a little bit extra to me. Okay. Yeah, you have a little bit of extra stagger here. So we bring stagger through the X step, right? So here's stagger right here. And so I've got stagger already. You need to let this right hip turn back instead of like stepping that way. So if you're not intentionally stepping that way, then you need to intentionally step forward. Right? So here, and now I'm just going to step directly forward. It's going to feel like here, right? And it's going to actually end up there. So just step directly forward, straight, and just check your feet after that. Okay, so that was that. Now, from back here, you have got to get way more dominant with the arm going forward, passing everything. Because right now, you're kind of moving forward as a unit, and the arm's barely going past the body. So you get to this position here when you're hitting, right here. Right, it should be here. So from back here, you need to send your hand and stop your shoulders from going forward. So here, hand forward. There. The practice is very simple. It looks exactly like what I'm doing. Right, so this is going to have to be kind of tight. That's why I'm using the verbiage of unit. Because you're trying to create a kind of a block here with your body, so your hand can go. Is the sense making?
Oh, it's like Gavin Babcock.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit. Maybe you'll hit an ace worth $10,000. Also, I'll meet you in the PvP world by the bank. I usually cook swordfish there, sell them for an exorbitant price. That's all I did. RuneScape. It's like, I'm going to get level 99 fishing. And cooking. How do I make sure I'm not popping the elbow too hard? Well, you shouldn't be popping, right? Your hand's gonna coast through. Right, so you're gonna move the disc forward, and so your arm's not ever gonna, you're not gonna have a big lockout extension. It's more like if you were dragging a drink across a bar, right, and you're gonna slide it down to the other end. You wouldn't go, right? You go through. People used to try to barter with me because I'd just be blasting texts, swordfish for however much, whatever it was, like double the price of them, but they didn't want to go back to the non-PvP world. So I put my price up, and then they'd put something up on the screen that was like way less. I'm like, nope. I'll just sell it to the next guy. They always bought. Gotta get that PvP in. That was never fun for me. Because I died. All right. Righty forehand. Cam, last time we had talked about grip interaction, right? And you had pulled it off of the web of your finger, right? Okay. Is it better? Like, does it fly better? Dude, I swear some of my friends got business degrees on the Grand Exchange. And they were the smart ones. Yeah, we kind of have to revisit the lower body. Only nose down on Annie. That's just like nose down. Like having your arm more internally rotated is more nose down. Having it more externally rotated through the movement. So, but you might be an Annie. I mean, a lot of guys are like nose down with people with a baseball background on Anheuser's is super common. And people with Heisers tend to throw like a little bit nose up on forehands, like guys with good forehands. So I was going to I almost grabbed my iPad to like put it up on I went into like private lesson mode. Look, I know you pitched. This is why I'm saying it to you. Because you are a pitcher. But your lower body didn't look like this when you pitched, right? Right, you just need those pitching lower body mechanics. Right, when you're here, you stride forward, right? And this hip gets pressed back, nice strong brace, right? And then after the ball's gone, then you go past it. Right here, there's no brace. Your forward drift just keeps happening. Tuk, 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 tuk. Right, you gotta step through. So have you ever worked on your forehand by just going into your pitching slot? Like sometimes I'll just have guys go into a full thing. I have to throw this way. You're gonna have to see my back. But I'll have them go through like a full routine here. And I'm not a pitcher, so, but it's probably not a huge disparity, right? I'll have them go into a full thing there because that's the same sequence as what you're looking for. I'm not going to try to do a lefty. I will destroy my shoulder. Right here, and then open. Right. Step. And then your hips are clearing there. But you're not going when you pitch, right? You're not stepping past it. Another thing you can do is you can just like block out your lower body like this. Right? Go from a knee. Side on here, basically, with this leg. And then throw from here. And take the like lower body sequencing out of it so you can work on your upper body. But Tommy's, yeah.
Sequence for forehand, but for Tommies, he has.
Right, and your Tommies are good, right? Yeah, 300 plus, pretty decent. Yeah, it's pretty decent. Have you ever tech tested it? But it should be fast, right? It should be fast. So, yeah, it's that same sequence that you've got to get. And then just start lowering your slot down from here and start lowering it just into chops on a net. And start, yeah. Just steal the lower body from your pitch. And like do a full routine and then just go into a lower slot, right? Yeah, I mean my Tommy speed I think is faster than my forehand speed as well. Like I think, yeah. Anyways, I think I almost hit 70 up top. What did I throw, Mikey?
Yeah,
yeah, it was like close to 70. Yeah, it was like close to 70. It was like 69 or something like that on a Tommy slot. I'm not throwing anywhere near 69 on a forehand slot. I don't think. Probably not. Yeah, well, you sent was Heiser, but like if you're gonna work on your form, just work on your form on Anheuser, right? You can use something overstable on a chop and be fine, and work on your lower body stuff. And then when that's in place, then work on your Heiser stuff. You just need something that goes right. Yeah. Yeah, and if your Anheisers are good, like arm slot wise, well, it makes learning the lower body even easier. You don't have to fix both things at once. And then you can adjust angles later. Yeah, go from your strength. Your strength is up top. And learn it this way, from vertical to, Heiser. Don't try to go, okay, my strength's here, vertical. Let me try to learn this thing from a Heiser perspective. It's like, just gonna take you way longer. Learn with your strength as the foundation, and that'll help bring in and fill in gaps way faster. leverage that experience that you have that most don't have. The BG5. It's kind of a double play with that 5 there. Okay. I'm worried about your, yeah. Okay.
I don't believe the timestamp that he started this guy's form.
1 hour, exactly.
55.
Wow. Unbelievable. I can't believe it.
Can't even fathom.
Okay, this step needs to cross over like towards us. I'll show you that in a second. You see how you're on your heel with your right step here? And you stay on your heel and you start falling away from us. Right? It's going to affect your coiling. Just posturally. It's tough to create the right space to throw from. You have your collapse there. But let's work on space first. Posture and space first. Okay. So currently, they can see me here? Okay. So currently your step is here, and then this step is here, right? My left foot is blocking your view of my right foot. You need to take this step and cross it over. So we go left, and then this right step needs to stagger across the left. Right, that's going to let us stay inside of our like toe on posture, because if I go and I go here, it's going to rock me back away. So we want to go here, crossover, right? Lets me keep good over at posture. I could stay here forever instead of here where I'm like falling backwards. So here. And then we go straight through. And now we've got all this space that we've built. And then we can turn, right? So I would fix this. 2 things, the posture and the footwork are both being fixed here. So we're going straight with a little flare like you got. Now we need to cross over. Not like that though. Don't go to the light, or do. There, there, right? And so we've got that stagger that we're creating there. Right, so we don't have to go here, here, rock back away, and then rock back this way to create stagger. It's just direct. Good posture, over it, forward, cross, stagger, X step. Then coil. Should look like that. See how I'm creating that space the whole time, keeping that space. That's your homework. Got that? You need me to do it from a different angle? Or is that one good? At least that way you could practice with me on the replays. What will that help for distance and accuracy? Well, you're gonna have space, so you don't have to go around your body, right? You're gonna have to. You might still have to work on your pull through. I mean, it could be, better, consequently, but it'll give you a more direct path to where you're going. So, Danger pawn. Here he is. Do you guys ever play for fun on the weekends? Sometimes we do. Sometimes we play for fun on the weekdays. Why does this tee box look so familiar? Stand. Reminds me of this course I played near Pinehurst. Oh, it's in Des Moines. That's why. I've never been there. Okay. There's a little too much action going on with this brace leg here. See how you kind of go like boom down into it and then whoop. It needs to be a full stop. It needs to stop right here. With your foot down, your brace leg should not budge. Turf's nice. Turf done well is really nice for a tee bag. So here, you're like here, right? There's this movement that's happening, this like roll that's happening. You just want to stop. So what you want to happen here is just boom, lock it in place. Don't budge. Now, when you go to throw, your legs might straighten out to keep you in place, right? It might push to keep you stopped, but the goal is stop, not go. So here, boom, stop as quickly as you can. And then throw from there as fast as you can. Right? So it's the equivalent of that. Like I'm trying to stop. There's no like, oh, I'm half-hearted stopping and then I've got to go again. It's one step. Stop. So, yeah, again, some ways that I have people do this. Sometimes I have people jump, like I showed earlier. Sometimes I just have people stop and stay right here and throw. Did not move. Right? And then eventually, you let your follow through pull things around. So if I let my follow through pull me around, it looks like that. So, but you want to stop first. And then the going happens after the disc is gone. Sawyer Paul. You think it's good or bad to take coaching from multiple sources? Bad. And my thinking on this, I actually used to be more open to it. And the more I learn and the more I listen to great coaches, the harder my stance gets on stop having multiple coaches. Because they're, in this book, How Champions Think, the author who's a great coach, said if your swing's broken and you try to find a form tip, people will give it to you. And that's when people get in trouble. It's like everybody's willing to give you a form tip, everybody's willing to give you advice. But it's not worth it. It's not worth breaking something, and there are differences in how people coach. And so it's better, even if a guy did not know like what was absolutely correct, right? So let's say that he's a little off on his knowledge base. Let's say that he's 80% right in his disc golf knowledge. It's better to have that one coach that's 80% right that you stick with and that you trust than going to two different coaches who are 100% right and give you different cues and different things to think about and start going through different processes to get there, right? Maybe 100% right is not like perfectly executed example, but because in that world maybe they'd both teach the exact same thing, right? If we knew what absolutely correct was, but yeah, it's easier to break somebody. It's easier to break somebody by having them bounce around to different coaches than it is to get somebody good form where they need to go. Right? So, yeah, stick with one coach. And if you're having trouble with something, go to that one coach. So there are coaches that I agree with mostly, and we have like little differences here and there that I'd say, like if someone worked with them, they would come out as a good student, like they would be a good disc golfer by the end of it, even though I disagree with things on some aspects of disc golf form with them. But it's way better for you just to stay with them than it is to go to somebody who might be even a little bit more knowledgeable. So, yeah. This guy told me to think about this. Now I got to think about this other thing. And yeah, it's just too easy to break people. So, and that's all you have to do to throw 500 feet. That's the secret nobody will tell you. Okay, onward. Sawyer. Oh. Okay. Very, very important. You're dropping here. We need to twist this, take your bicep, and instead of having it face upward, turn it so that it's facing like towards you. Even better if you can feel like it's facing down, right? Sometimes we refer to this as like winning the arm wrestle will get you in that position. And then you have to maintain that as you go through. Through, bicep still in this position, right? Still facing in towards me. the whole time. It's going to feel like it's going to go through my elbow. This is going to like through my elbow, not above my elbow. Here. Keep that bicep in. Super important. Super important. And just rep that sucker out. Yeah, because you're here and you're going wee. Here. Wee. So bicep in. This is not as important as this. So my bicep can be in. My disc can be like this. I could almost get it to where my bicep's in and my disc is up. But you have to go through that way. Through like that. Hide the disc as it goes forward.
What do you mean by bicep? Bicep?
My bicep, I got one of those. It's here, right? This is my bicep pointing upward. Whee!
Oh,
in towards my body.
I got you. I was just thinking that it's in. Like, this is technically in still.
Oh, no, I'm saying in towards me.
But
like pointing.
Bicep here, bicep here.
Well, it's my definition. So, this is what I mean. Bicep in. Like, not up. This is up. This is my bicep up. This is my bicep this way. If my bicep was an arrow, I want it pointed not upward. Here. Like here. That's up.
Oh, okay, I see.
Can you see the difference? As long as you can see the difference. We can mince words later. It's when the arm wrestle is what we're doing. Right? Just here. Right? Versus here.
But like there, didn't you see how your bicep was still in?
My bicep is pointing here.
Right, isn't that still in?
Now my bicep is pointing here. This
Okay.
way.
Okay, I see. Yeah. Yep, okay. Sorry, my brain wasn't driving. That's actually a good way to think about it.
Yeah. It's this part of the arm that's important. To go through here. Like that. So you can think about it as space, you can think about it as bicep, you can think about it as arm wrestle. But you have to get there, not here. Here, not here. That much we're clear about. What are 2-3 cues you would consider? I just went through them, I think. But this feels to me like a high elbow, right? Not a low elbow. Right, if I'm coming low here, problematic. Here, if you go win the arm wrestle, it makes it a very like upward feeling elbow. Yep. Also just feels like way more space. I can also feel like the tension used to maintain this space, kind of here, and a little bit here. The hand naturally is going to feel like a little bit below the elbow. If you go the other way, that's just kind of like something that will naturally happen, I think. Oi, oi, oi. You're making me work for it after my vacation, y'all.
I'm not adding side back in. I think the other guy got his in. Alvin?
Alvin? No.
Well, I don't think that's his name on Discord.
Oh. Wait, isn't DG form Corey Bourbon Jr.? Yeah. So I already did this. Yeah, we added both. There were 2 added. Yay! Look at that. That went. Where is the Q? Oh, it's cool. Oh, it's cool.
Oh, well. Oh. Alvin just, yeah, neither Alvin or Side had get in the sun. Just have them upload from next.
Okay. My manager said that we're not adding any more to this stream. It's probably got something to do with my schedule. Yeah, a little over rotation. You're correct. But here's the good news, is that your lead arm looks really good. The throwing motion that you're doing with it doesn't look that good. But the arm itself, really something to behold. I'm joking. The move looks good, of course. Little pronation here. Looks like you're throwing a nose up shot, perhaps intentionally. Slower disc. If not, don't roll pronation. Roll the other way if you're trying to get nose down. But yeah, the over rotation is the question, right? There's kind of this back leg twist happening, accompanied by just this left shoulder. So this is kind of the weird thing. Well, this disc probably flies better with a little nose up, so even though it's not intentional, it might be better in this exact situation. But yeah, so you just roll the other way. Thumb up, not thumb down. Right? Dude, an espresso machine at the office. Dakota used to make me espressos in the morning. And then his sister moved out and took her espresso machine with her. That's my sad story. In 50 words or less.
That's so sad.
Yeah. Okay. So the weird thing about disc golf is we go back with 2 hands. We turn everything back together, but then we have to go whoop. So you've got to figure out, just like the like brace is stopping here, the hips stop here, the left side stops back here, right? So we're going whoop, stop everything except for this. So you've already got the lead arm move. You just have to stop the other stuff from happening, right? No, we don't want to GoFundMe for an espresso. Dakota can't have caffeine. I think Mikey's off of coffee.
I'm off.
And if you want to GoFundMe for anything, we're Pokemon 151. You can GoFundMe my new collection. So my girls got really into it. That's all the go for it I needed, was my girls to get into the thing that I grew up on. And now my binder looks way better than theirs. Their binders suck. But yeah, so from here, you have to stop here, like 90 degrees earlier than you think. If you try to stop here, it's too late, brother. So you got to go from here. Try to stop from this moment. Just let your left hand go limp or tuck it. Don't really care. And just keep this left shoulder over here somewhere, way back. And then do your right arm move. There, this is why we get the feeling of like throwing behind us. We use that cue a bit here because it feels like, oh, okay, boom, now I've stopped. And everything I want to throw towards is actually behind me at this point. Boom, there. Just a right arm move. Sometimes I'll have people hold something in place. I'm gonna lightly throw this Clash popcorn. Sometimes I'll have people hold like a basket or something like this, and then throw. So obviously, I'm very attached to this right now. So that's a not a bad drill. And then you let go of it, but keep your hand there. And then you like do it without the basket, obviously. Can you give form lessons via Pokemon analogies? Probably not. Someone in our office would say that Pokemon's name is Marowak. Gordon Ramsay have to walk.
What's it more supposed to say about again?
Marowak. Whack, like whack.
Marrow, whack, that makes sense. Because bone.
Yeah, bone marrow.
Yeah, whack. You smack.
And you're whacking people with some bone marrow.
Yeah,
Pokemon names are way more interesting when you're older and you actually think about them. Yeah, discs is good. Having something in your left hand is, I think, beneficial. Okay, do I not have anybody else in the thing? Okay, here we go. Doctoro et cor. Toro? Ah. Dang, dude, imagine mowing that hill. Okay, we need more coil here. This is definitely #1 priority in my mind. At this moment, the shoulders have to, you see how your shoulders are kind of going back? They have to keep going back. Your arm just goes back and your shoulders stop. You have to keep going. I don't have a yard, so I don't have to worry about mowing hills like that. Nor do I want a yard. A house, I'd take a house. Big yard, man, really don't want. Maybe if I had goats, but you gotta have a lot of yard for goats, I think. Can't have a small yard and goats. Unless you just like, you know, grass is too long or grass is too short. Sorry, bud. Meat. We got meat now. No grass means meat. Okay, here we go. So when we do our turn, our unit turn, it's here. So I'm talking about this moment. Here, right? I'm showing you right now with a very rigid upper body unit structure, right? It's one unit. Hold your hands like this if you have to, whatever. Probably like this, actually, so we get the bicep facing in. But yeah, here, like that, okay? And that needs to happen right here, right? And so I turn my chest back, my belly button goes backwards, right? This whole unit goes back. And it needs to go back for the entirety of the last step. So we don't turn here. we don't turn here, and then we turn as far back as we can turn, basically, during this last step. So you should be here. The only difference between this and an actual throw for some people is some people extend at the elbow here. Right? So if we do that and we have our space created, side on, now we're going to turn and just let the elbow open like this as our unit goes back. Like that, and that's it. So you can be anywhere here, here, that's all cool, as long as the unit turns. But that gives you your space for throwing, so you have to have that. I thought the trash can was another kilt. Nope. Would be funny though.
No kid. No, no kid.
Wayne Rooney. His name is actually just Rooney.
Oh. Yeah. I typed that in.
Ooh. Okay. Yep, that's tough. So you're doing good with your shoulders. Let your shoulders turn your hips back. All right? Keep going there. Don't let this foot drag all of this open and stop this turning that you have going on, because you're doing a great job of turning the upper body back, right? Let it keep going back and let it bully this hip into going back a little bit and bully this foot into turning back a little bit, not the other way around. So the backhand is very upper body dominant. Okay. So after that, you're going to be able to work on your lead arm move. Okay, because right now, how forward you are. Right, if I'm turning back and then I turn this foot forward, like away from you, all my space is gone. That's going to give me this move as a throw. This like out and around rainbow move, right? We want actually the opposite. No rainbow. If anything, we want it to be more of like an inward curve. So when we turn and we let these shoulders turn back our hips a little bit and turn back our foot a little bit, now look at how much room I have here. So now I don't have to go around. Doesn't mean I will not go around, but now I have the option of doing it the correct way, right? So here, and now I can have it kind of curl into my body here, there, and forward, right? So now we've got kind of this opposite arc, but it starts with this coil here, and now into the body, and it's going to move a little bit away from the body as we move forward. So we get to curl it inside instead of being forced to go around. So then you just practice that lead arm move. From here, you just move the disc forward with your hand on the outside / back of it, not here. Right. Move it forward. Boom. It's going to go kind of like through my elbow here. Forward on that straight-ish line. There. So I'll just throw one here for you. We go here. Turn, let the shoulders turn the hips back, and then straight through. Good to go. Listerine. Not even Listerine, right? Listerine has an E on the end, doesn't it? Or not. If it was said properly. If it was spelled properly. Boom. This guy's trying to get after it, dude. Wow. This guy can throw. Little bit of weird stuff, but I think this guy can throw.
Sure, he's bracing good.
Yeah. A little bit of pronation out of the pocket. But I'm not even sure that it's like nose up. It's hard to tell. I'm not sure if it's nose up or not. So we're gonna leave that. This is kind of the weird part for me, or the part that I think you could really clean up, is not getting so turned back with the hips there to where you end up rolling on this heel. Right, that's a tough position to get out. It's very cold at all, and right, and he's having to fix that, or he's probably changing his form to get rid of some of that now post injury. Yeah, if you can come through here without turning the hips too far back, that'd be good. And we see like some turning back with guys who throw far. So let me give you some context here of like what is too far. We see like, okay, back a little bit, right? The foot's backwards a little bit, but look at where his hips are at, right? That's the big thing. Is your hips are all the way back almost at this point. Okay, all the way back's probably not fair. But you see how they're way less back on this. Lets him get a little more shoulder separation from his hips. Yeah, I would really try to stay more on like the inside of your left foot as you come through. Here, and try to stay on the inside of this foot as you go forward. Don't let it roll back to this heel, right? That's one way of kind of attacking this. Or you can think about having your hips be a little more, like your right hip, be a little bit more forward as you go, instead of your right hip going and turning here. On a throw, try to get it pointed more forward. It doesn't have to be all the way up here. It probably won't be, right? But somewhere more over that way. Here. Whoop. And then turn. And you'll get more shoulder turn in relation to your hips that way. And then I'm really interested to see it. I'd say maybe even this step here, consider having this step a touch more forward instead of favoring back a little bit like this. Try to have it a little more there. So just start a little more forward and then make sure that you get through this X step clean. And the other thing is this posture is always really nice to see how like over the posture he is. See how his butt's out. So yeah, I would clean that up and then let's see what happens. We all wait with bated breath, whatever that means. Okay, next is ran this. Could be ran this. If he didn't run, then we'll know. If he just had like a walk up, it's not just like running the whole video, then we'll know if it's ran this versus ran this. Oh, it's gonna do the thing again. Everybody wait. It's probably ran this though.
It's definitely ran this. Dude's about to be Usain Bolt.
Here he goes. And wait. Post. Full reach back. There it is. Yep. No forward move for you. Okay. Boom. Boom. Is this pretty far back already? This is right here. You see how your hips are already back? It's going to be problematic, I think.
Patient.
That is some early twisting of the left knee. But let's see what happens. Is this supposed to be a huge Anheuser? Is this a max distance line?
Dude, learn to throw with all overstable discs.
Dude. Yeah, if this is your like max distance line, your max distance line is a big force over, kind of changes things. I mean, this looks like you're throwing a huge Annie. I mean, I'm so conflicted.
Oh, he's definitely throwing flat / Anheuser.
Right. You know who it reminds me of? That's not who I was going to. But I'll have to look at Silas next.
Doesn't look like that, does it? I guess it probably will.
Mm-hmm. It will, because Adam's throwing a little force over here.
Yeah, I'm taking it up too.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Come on. I mean, this is pretty good.
Better form than Adam Hammond's question mark? You should do his max distance form.
Yeah.
Because he does a lot of things different on that form than his max.
It does look really good. The only thing is I'm lacking the context to know.
Yeah. form is so different when he goes back. That's the difference, that little out. I've seen this a bunch. I've noticed it with my own form.
I mean, it's definitely a turnover, right? Because of where he falls through, and I got questions. I don't even want to like critique on it. Just message me on Discord.
Who's this guy again? Brandon?
Ran this. Yeah, I'm kind of in a position where it's like a lot of it looks really good situationally. It's hard for me to say this is bad. The only thing is, like, are you too far backwards? Well, that very much depends on where you're throwing, what height you're throwing, what line. Like, are you throwing out really far left with a big anhyzer and it's coming in? Because then you're not backwards in reference to your line. So, yeah. David, message me on Discord. Because as for now, my advice would be, you're good. Don't change anything. But I need more context. If you're like, oh, I'm only throwing 375, or you're like, I'm only throwing 400, okay, then I got questions. So, but this is not the way right now. Not the most helpful for you. Okay, Spokansas. Hello? Oh, it's doing the thing again. I ain't got time to not see the rest of this. So good so far.
Woo.
Yeah, I mean, upper body looks solid. Setup looks solid. It's the lower body that you got to look at. Here, you just step through and you bleed past you just like slowly leak forward. Was Dakota coming back today?
He's gone. He's going on.
I think somebody just pulled up. Oh, it could be the guys next door, I guess. Somebody's coming up. Wrong door, though. Wait. Oh. It is Dakota.
Oh. He's just excited because we got a good card. He's gonna sleeve it. I need to sleeve it.
Is that really why you're here? Dang. Oh, you guys have been texting. It's a what? 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 When? Now?
Timberlake Walmart. I saw a UPS store and I put it in the pens.
Wow. So what we're looking at here is this. You see how when he plants his foot, watch how his lower body stays. right? Very little drift, and he's ripping on this thing. But look how little drift it has. Right, you can tell by how he finishes. Right, you have this step through here. Right, so you just kind of keep going. So you're here. Right, no real stop. Germ is here, right? Stops all of his forward movement. That's what our brace leg does on the forehand as well. Boom. And then all that's left over is enough for him to go like this, right? And finish over here because he stopped. Here. As you go. So this has to be immediate stop and try to finish here instead of stepping through. Okay. Brex.
Right.
Dang, dude.
Awesome. Pulled that. I don't know if it's worth anything. And back. Those little tins are my good luck sign.
There you go.
What's the other one? Is it EX?
I pulled the Mu EX and then the alternate art Nido King.
These are cool.
Yeah, they're all anything like that's worth something with the English set.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Tins. They're paying for themselves.
Ow. Dude, don't break stuff. Oh, it's gonna do this thing again? Okay, okay. Pause. Okay. A little back favored, I think. But let's see. This would be like if you were trying to throw really high. You would go that far back. Yeah, gotta stop the left side from going forward here. Okay, so when we get back here, so you don't need to be so pitched up. You can just be kind of neutral here with the shoulders, unless you're throwing really high, right? This is your, I'm throwing really high, I'm pitched back. This is, I'm throwing down a mountain, and everything else is kind of in between. Right, so we're here. Now, once you get here, this like left side twist in that you're doing, you have to stop that. It's got to be stopped with, like, once we set this in place, that's our structure, right? It does not move. Our right arm moves and it brings this stuff around later, but it needs to be solid here. So once you get back here, I'll show you the drill that, one of the drills I use. Friendly basket here. I'm back. So I'm not obviously full reach back, but I'm in my reach back position. And from here, throw. That thing hit my coffee mug. Here, throw. Sometimes they come back to you. Here, throw. Okay. And then eventually you take your hand off of it, but keep your hand floating here. Throw. Hey. And then eventually, no basket. Oi. Oi. Okay, next up, Mikey, Roger Jacko.
Jacko.
Did you Roger Jacko? Roger Jacko. Roger. Tech disc. Okay. Don't stop your turn here. You're going to lose your space. Yeah, you've got a nice, like you're trying to do the right things with your left arm. You just need more space to do it. So you got to continue. You got to open up this space in your backswing. Right, so keep this space here, and then keep coiling this shoulder so that your space is there. Right, if you stop turning your shoulders, well, this is all you have. And so then you're trying to do your lead arm move, but your disc is running your body because it doesn't have enough space. So the shoulder coil is how we create that space that we need. And then we can throw forward. Right here, so you got to get this happening. So when you get to this final step, now we got to go chest all the way back, all the way back, all the way back. Okay? And then throw like you've been throwing. But really work on getting that left shoulder all the way back, your chest all the way back, your belly button all the way back. So your arm's not up against your body back here, but it's all this space right here. That's what you want. Okay, the last one, the price is right. Are you leaving? You sound like you're leaving. All right, peace. Okay, you got some good natural feel. There's just a little too much with the arm going on. Starting from here, twisting up. It's a lot of arm action, and you end up rolling your like arm into your body, your bicep like upward. Okay, so we need to keep this position. You've probably seen us talk about this before, right? But you're here, roll there, right? You have got to maintain that position. I would just be really rigid with it for a while during your walk up. So try to stay here and go through your whole walk up, maintaining this shape. Right, so not here, here. So we're here. Boom. And I say rigid, don't injure yourself. I'm not saying like be super tight. Just try to create a structural feel to this. Right through the whole walk up. This is fine. And from here, we can throw. So your initial throws might look like that. I'll show you what a really like structure, no real extension at the elbow looks like. All right, doesn't have to be pretty. It's got to be spaced out properly, okay? Okay, now after you do that for a bit and you've kept that space, now we can work on the extension. maintaining this upper arm space feel. This will open up, but this will not change. My upper arm here and my chest, that relation is the thing that we're working on. So we're just gonna let this elbow extension happen. This is stylistic. This is not stylistic. So here I'm gonna let an extension happen. Boom, with space still here. Maintain this space. Okay, with a throw. That felt kind of good, actually. All right, friends. That is who we have for today. We will update and do a next live stream. Oh, we've got to set those dates. But we're going to start mixing, I think, Mikey in on some of these live streams here. And yeah, Mikey and I are on the same page with things, so it's the time. Cool. All right, guys. Well, we're going to catch you in the next one, and we're hopefully going to catch them all. So, thanks for hanging out. Our Patreon link is in the description below. Like I said, we've got this $50 tier currently that is really high value. If you're putting in a lot of work for your off season, I think it's good value. And if you do good with video coaching back and forth, it's not like cemented as exactly how it's going to be. But now's the time to get in. All right, guys. Peace.